you? Book one I'm going to talk about. The books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. Helping parents. Leaders use their greatest superpower, their words, to help shape the next generation for our generations to come. And of course, the author of the book, The Parent's Secret Superpower, none other than Miss Jody Hill.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome once again to one of my podcasts, Miss Jody. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes. My name is Jody and I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I am wife to an amazing husband and I have 5 kids. Four are children I have birthed myself and then one is my bonus daughter, so I'm her stepmom. And kids are currently 7 through 12 and I have just been on a journey with them of raising kids who are confident and capable, regardless of what life has for them. Because life is not easy and it's never going to be. But how can we raise kids who turn into young adults, who turn into humans that can be resilient and confident in who they are and can navigate life's challenges?
Very well said, Miss Jody, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom thank you. So the Bible, or the book title calls A Parent's Words a Secret Superpower. What do you think most parents don't realize the immense power they hold in their everyday language?
Yeah. As our children are navigating life, they have a lot of voices that are coming at them. They have culture, they have social media, they have their friends, they have all of these different people that are speaking to their identity. And their beliefs are going to be formed on the voice that's the loudest and most influential in their life. And as a parent, we are around them the most and they care about us the most. Some kids may not show it, especially as they get older, but their innate desire is to make their parents happy and to please them, and they love us. We are the ones who raised them. So we have a power that many parents do not realize that we have to impact our children and speak identity and confidence in them. And that is why I call it a secret superpower, because a lot of parents don't realize the power that they actually have right within them. They don't need more trainings, they don't need more courses. It's their words, something that they have already.
Miss Jody, I want that secret powers. Secret superpower indeed.
Yeah.
If words are a superpower, what is the kryptonite? That common phrases or communication habits that silently drain a children's confidence.
Yes. So it's if positive words are great, it's the negative words. And often it's things that we don't even realize. And I think what is so cool about the power of our words, it's not just some concept of, oh, words are powerful. They make me feel good sometimes, but it's actually scientifically backed the power that words have. Think about it. You are, okay, so this is a great example of my son. He was trying to do this new thing on his rollerblades and he was scared. He was like, Mom, I am so scared. And so, what did I do in that moment? I spoke to who I knew he was. And I was like, Buddy, I was like, you've been practicing so hard. And I've seen times where you've tried it the first time and you failed, but you got back up again and you did it. I know you can do this. All of a sudden, he was ready to go and he did it. And he was floored. Now, did anything change physically? Did all of a sudden he get new muscles or skates or something? No. It was all of my words. And my words encouraged him to be able to do something that he was afraid of doing. And so that is the power that our words have. It actually changes the makeup inside our body. And it can either equip us to do awesome things or really hinder us and hold our children back.
Very well said, Miss Jody. Very well said indeed. You outline 7 simple strategies. If a parent is overwhelmed and can only focus on one strategy for the next month, which single shift with the world will create the biggest ripple effect?
Oh, that's a good question. If I
Thank
had to
you.
pick one, if I had to pick
Yes.
one strategy for a parent to just start with, and I mean, that's the whole point of my book, right? Like, we are parents and we are busy and we have a lot going on. So I'm going to give you 7 simple strategies. But if even that is too much for you, I would encourage you to start with my first strategy, which is to be their champion and not their savior. Now, let me explain that to you. We as parents, most of us love our children. And I know for me, I'm a natural helper. Like, if I see my child struggling with something, like, I want to help because I love them. But how many times do we actually step in and help our children with good intentions, but it's actually having negative intentions? So let me share with you a story. My oldest daughter, she was learning how to tie her shoes, and it was time to go out the door, and I come across her. She's on the floor and she's just crying. And I'm like, "Oh, baby." I was like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I can't tie my shoes. This is too hard. I can't do it." Okay, so I have a choice here. I can come in and I can rescue her and be like, "I got this. No problem. Do, 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 do. Ready to go. Stop your tears. Let's go." But what have I communicated in that moment? I've communicated to her that I don't think she can do it. And I'm just going to rescue her from everything that's hard because she's not capable of doing hard things. So instead, I was like, "Oh, baby, I know this is can be really tricky to do, right? Would you like for me to show it to you again? I know that you can do this. You're going to get it." So she's like, "Okay." And so we go over the process again. And of course, it's like, "Oh man, I want to go." But this is so much more important, right? So I just set everything to the side. I showed her how to do it. I sat there, I encouraged her, and I empowered her to do it herself. And guess what? She got it. And she was thrilled. And so now she's walking away instead of thinking, "That was really hard. My mom had to do it for me. Oh, I dread the next time I have to tie my shoes." She's like, "I did it. I worked hard and I did it. I can do hard things." So if we can navigate our lives with our kids like that as parents and not rescuing them from the hard, but being there to cheer them on, maybe show them how and equip them, that in and of itself will help our children gain so much confidence in who they are and their abilities.
Miss Jody, your title promises to raise kids who are both confident and capable. How do those two traits work together, and what happens when a child develops one without the other?
Ooh, one without the other. That's a good question. I don't know if it's possible to have a kid who is confident and not feel capable because I think they go hand in hand. When we are able to create kids who are confident in themselves, they get this foundational belief that I can do things, I can do hard things. And so when we speak into our children and we speak belief, right? We speak belief to them. "Hey, you can do it. You can do hard things. I know you can do this. I've seen this in you. You got this." When we speak that belief into them, that shapes their identity, right? And then from their identity of believing who they are, then that shapes their behavior. And so they start acting and showing things of like, "I've seen this or I see this. It looks hard and challenging, but I remember this one time with my mom or with my dad where things were hard and I tried again and again and I got it. I know I can do hard things." And that shapes their behavior, right? because they approach it with a different attitude. And then after that, like that shapes who they become as adults because they take that with them throughout life. So not only do they gain the confidence, but they're like, they're capable of like, I know I can handle what comes my way. I may make mistakes and I may fail sometimes, but I know how to get back up. I know how to try again, and I'm not a failure.
Miss Jody, many parents worry about overpraising their kids and creating fragile egos. How do you use words to be build genuine, resilient confidence without falling into the empty praise trap?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of experts that speak on that. And I think it's definitely an important thing to consider. So, what my approach and my experience with my four kids is I want to praise them for who they are, not necessarily their outcome. So I don't want to say just like, "Oh, you're so smart because you get A's." And so now they have this pressure on themselves. If I don't get A's, does that mean I'm not smart? So what I look for is characteristics in them that I can praise that I see that are very true. Like, hey, I'm super proud of you that you work hard. I see you working hard on this paper. And she gets an A, and it's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. But it's not, I'm proud of the A. I'm proud of the effort that she put into that. So I'm really careful about the things that I'm praising. Think about this like little girls, they come dressed up with hair bows and they put a dress up dress on. And what do we say to them? We're like, you're so pretty. And I think that's important for a girl to hear, especially from her dad. But if that they're only hearing that when they're like putting a certain dress on or putting makeup on, then that can have an impact to them. Like what I want my girls to know is they are beautiful regardless. They are beautiful if they have makeup on or not, if they have a certain dress on or not, and that they're also beautiful inside. I want to speak to who they are and not just surface things, which can pass.
Very well said, Miss Jody. The power of words likely changes as a child grows. How does parents' superpower need to resolve or evolve from toddlerhood to teenage years?
Yeah, I mean, when you have a little kid, you're encouraging them to tie their shoes, right? When you have a teenager, you're encouraging them to drive a car, right? And how to be safe. So it's different, right? I think the words that we use are different, but the principles are the same. So one of the superpower strategies I have is to like equip them for their own missions. And what I mean by that is you want to set them up for success. So, for example, a little kid, what I do with my child when they're young sets them up for when they are an adult. So, when we go to a restaurant and we go out to eat, I have my kids order for themselves. I don't do it for them. Maybe a couple times if one kid's just like, Mom, can you just order for me? Sure. Because I want them to be comfortable in those environments, to look at the menu, decide what they want, and then to speak to an adult and order. And when I am doing that with young children, that is something that they will, like when they're teenagers, they'll be able to do no problem. It's a skill set that they need as an adult, as a young adult, and that they will be doing when they, you know, get pulled over by the cop. Can they talk to an adult or whatever, right? But it's a skill set that when we teach it to them when they're young, they're able to use that when they're older. And so the same thing, like when by the time my kids are teenagers, doing that stuff and talking to adults and ordering for themselves or remembering their own appointments or whatever it may be is stuff that they've learned as a kid. So the thing itself may change. Maybe they're no longer, um, I don't know, leaving for school on time. Now they're leaving for work on time. So it's the same thing. They're doing the same thing and learning time management and skills, but what's going on is a little bit different in that environment.
The power of words likely changes as a child grows. Miss Jody, how does a parent superpower need to make those mistake parents to outgrown those superpower that make those those things that common mistake parents make when talking their teenagers?
I think it's really easy for parents to see something negative in their child that they want changed or that they wish was different. And instead of speaking life to that, they speak death. So, for example, say they have a child who likes to come home after school every day and like go lay down on their bed. Now, this can be very frustrating for a parent because it's like, you've got homework to do, you have responsibilities to do. Like, dude, you're so lazy, right? So you come to that child and you see this thing that maybe makes you scared for some reason, like, oh no, I'm raising a lazy child. And so you come in and you're like, dude, you're so lazy. Like, get your butt up off the bed. Let's go. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. As opposed to, is my child lazy? Can I actually think of other ways that show that they're actually not a lazy kid? Maybe it kind of looks like that here, and just get curious. And what if what's also true in the situation is my kid has just been at school for 8 hours? They've been on their best behavior. They've been working hard. They haven't had a lot of time outside and they are fried and worn out. And maybe they just need a minute. Maybe they just need 30 minutes of laying down with no talking to anyone. So, in that case, but if I come to my kid and I'm like, you are so lazy, you're blah, 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 they're going to start believing that. Like, yeah, I am lazy. And so, if we speak to the negative, they're going to take that on as an identity, as opposed to, I would go to my kid and be like, okay, so you're wanting to go lay down? Yeah, that makes sense. Tell me about it. Why are you wanting to lay down? And they'll probably say something like, it's been a long day and I just need a break. Like, okay, bud, awesome. I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself and what your body needs. When you're done, I'd love to hang out with you. Completely different scenario where you're encouraging them to take care of themselves versus shaming them for what you are taking as being lazy.
Hmm. Interesting, interesting. Miss Jody, thank you for empowering us. For parents of young children who are still forming their inner voice, what words should they prioritize planting as seeds right now?
Mm. I think the biggest thing that parents can tell their kids all the time is that they love them, regardless of what they do. Because if kids can feel safe with their parents to mess up and make mistakes, and that they are going to be loved regardless, that gives them the freedom to be who they are, navigate life, and make mistakes because we're all going to make mistakes. But they get to make mistakes in the home where they're safe. And their mom and dad are going to be there to not shame them or yell at them, but just to love them and be like, oh man, that was a pretty big mistake. What can you do differently next time? And just to be there and help them. So if kids can feel ultimately loved by their parents and accepted, that will go such a long, long way. So that would be my like number one thing. And maybe the second one would be I believe in you. Like you can do hard things. I believe that you can do whatever you set out to do.
Hmm, certainly. And you can pour from an empty cup. So how does a parent's inner voice, the way they talk to themselves, affect the words they ultimately speak to their children?
Yeah. I mean, if we don't see worth and value in ourselves, how can we pour that into our kids? And, we talk about the belief that we have impacts our identity, which impacts how we behave. So you can't fake something that you don't have. So I think it's so important for the parent to do the work of who do I believe myself to be? Am I strong? Am I capable? Yeah, I've made mistakes and stuff, but that doesn't define who I am. And so I encourage parents to do the work for themselves, to have that confidence in themselves, to have that belief in themselves. And then that'll naturally flow more into the children. If you have an adult, say a mom, who is constantly, I have a big mirror right here, looking in the mirror every day, being like, man, I'm such a failure. Gosh, I'm an idiot. Why did I make that stupid mistake? Oh, I'm fat. I need to work out more. But then they go to their kids and they're like, you're beautiful no matter what, and blah, 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 blah. Like it just doesn't work that way. So I got to work on myself as an adult and as a human who is loved just as I am, so I can then show up to my kids that way because they will pick up on how you speak to yourself.
Certainly, yes. So, Miss Jody, as you studied the thought this material, what you have learned about your own words, either as a parent or from reflecting on the words you heard as a child?
Yeah. I would say as a kid, I always remember my dad saying that he was proud of me. And that gave me a confidence of when I walked into a room, just like knowing that my dad was proud of me. And my parents were so mindful of their words to me, my mom, like, especially. And I remember one time I was on the way home and from school on the school bus, and there was a bully on this bus. And it was time for me to get off at my bus stop. We pulled up and he was standing right in the way. And I was in fourth grade and he was, I don't know, he seemed big and so much older than me. And so as I'm approaching him, he looks at me and he's like, you're an idiot. Now think about this. Like, I came from a home where we didn't even say the word shut up. Like, that was a big deal to say shut up. And so to have this kid call me an idiot, like, it hit me like a smack in the face. And yet I was like, that is not who I am. And the words and the confidence that my parents had instilled inside of me of who I was like a shield, just protecting me. And I looked him in the eyes and I was like, no, I'm not. And I walked off the bus. I was a little scared and shaky, but my parents' words that they instilled in me, they protected me from the outside voices that wanted to tell me otherwise. And that has been my desire now, raising my own children. Like, I want my words to be that shield for my children, to protect them from the mean and hurtful and lame things that other people will say to them and the identity that they'll try and speak over them. They'll be like, no, that is not who my parents have said I am. And that's not who God says I am. So that is my heart and goal, to do that with my kids and to help parents do that with their other kids.
So, Miss Jody, to wrap up our discussion for today, if a child grows up hearing the words you advocate for in this book, what kind of adult do they become? What's the ultimate legacy of a parent who master this secret superpower?
I believe that you have an adult that's unstoppable and can change the world. If we can change this next generation of kids to believe in their identity, to believe in their ability, and to believe in who they are and what they can do, we truly will have an unstoppable generation of kids.
Definitely, people. Well, make sure that we are raising a superpower kids because this is for our generation to generations to come.
Yes.
Miss Jody, can you please invite our listeners to support your parents' secret superpower?
Yes, I have a free guide for anyone who's listening, and it gives you my top 6 confidence boosters to help confidence and busters, because sometimes we do things as parents and we don't even realize we're actually hurting their confidence. So if you want that free guide, all you have to do is go to freebie.itsjodyhill.com, and it's also in the show notes, I believe. And then you enter your email and you can get that download for free to start your journey today of speaking life into your kids.
Yes, and Miss Jody, thank you for empowering us. Thank you for the book. I hope there will be more books like this to come. So, Miss Jody, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Modican people, see you soon.